He's got 63 first cousins. He might be related to you. Who is he? You'll find out coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning with the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're focused on public service, and we're visiting with the Honorable Nelson Hardwick, a representative of the South Carolina House of Representatives, District 106.
That's correct.
Good morning, Representative Hardwick.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming in on a Thursday morning. Do you mind if we call you Nelson?
Not a bit in the world. Thanks for having me.
You've got a lot of relatives and friends and family who call you Nelson, but you're probably getting some folks calling you Representative or Honorable now.
Oh, yeah. But those that know me well know just how honorable I am, and they believe in keeping you in your place.
Yes, absolutely.
Family and friends will do that for you.
You will never hear the honorable from some, or maybe you will, like sarcastically or otherwise, from some family members. And you've got a lot of family members in the area.
Absolutely.
I think I saw your family goes back in this area to the 1700s, Nelson.
Yeah, they did. We started in out in Gunners Island in the early 1700s.
Is that in Horry County?
Yes, it is.
Where is that? For viewers who our viewers in the PD or Southeast North Carolina or even here that wouldn't know where that is.
Between Ainer and 378.
Okay.
Gunners Island. It's on the Little PD River, and that's where most people settle on the river and moved inland.
Mm-hmm.
But if you leave Gunners Island, every road that leaves there, and most of them do, to Conway, to Bucksport, to up to Galvant's Ferry, to Nichols, Loris, everywhere. Every road has a Hardwick or a Graham settle on it that's related to me.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
Is there still some people living out on Gunners Island?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people live in the area, in Dog Bluff. Gunners Island, Dog Bluff is basically the same territory.
Geographically, we're talking about one of the largest counties east of the Mississippi, but definitely the largest county in the state. I guess there's probably a lot of communities that a lot of people aren't aware of.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I'm sure. And you grew up between where?
Between Bayboro and Galvant's Ferry. Went to Ainer High School, graduated from there in '69.
Great. And then you went off to college?
Went to Clemson University.
Is that right? I think you had said a couple years ago when you were visiting with us that you later married your high school sweetheart?
Yeah. Met her when I was 14.
Oh, come on.
Knew before I was 15 I was going to marry her. It bothered her a little, but I wouldn't give up, and she eventually agreed to marry me my freshman year in college.
Wow, y'all married in '69.
All right.
That is amazing. As you think about those years, what's married life been like for 36 years, Nelson?
Great. Best thing I ever did.
Yeah. Good answer.
It really is.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you've met her.
Absolutely. You outmarried yourself.
I did.
Definitely.
I married up.
You married up. And is Marty from Ainer?
She grew up in Mullins.
In Mullins, in Marion County.
Right, and her family is from Lakeview and Dillon area, but
she still has family in the PD?
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. You're making a lot of trips now each week. I guess it's not year-round, though. Service in the South Carolina House of Representatives or the Senate is how much of the year?
We start the second week in January and meet the first week in June, unless budget's not complete, and then we go on as long as necessary to approve the budget.
Okay, so it's
3 days a week.
Right, so 5+ months, almost 6 months. And, of course, that enables folks to continue maintaining a business practice or a legal practice or otherwise. And that's the same for the House and the Senate.
That's correct.
Okay. 3 days a week, you said. So you travel up what day?
I leave Tuesday around 7:30. Try to get up around 10. Meet some people, get kind of organized. We have a caucus meeting at 11. We meet for about 45 minutes, and then House adjourns at noon on Tuesday, and we meet. And in the beginning of the year, it's not much because we don't have any bills on the floor to debate. So we take care of some housekeeping and early on, and then in the afternoons we meet for committee and subcommittee meetings where we take input from various people about various pieces of legislation, and then that's a good bit of budget work done the first half of the session. People, a lot of us attend those meetings to try to find out who's getting the money and who's not, and what's going on.
Right. How many representatives are there in the South Carolina House of Representatives?
124.
Okay, and senators?
46.
Wow, so 170 legislative or representatives representing all the citizens of South Carolina.
Right.
Golly, that keeps y'all all pretty active. And they have the South Carolina Senate is in session the same times as the South Carolina House.
Right.
Golly, how many folks from the Horry County delegate? How large is that delegation?
We have 6 that are included all in the county, and then we have one representative, Jackie Hayes, that has a portion of the area up around Nichols, and then we have Rankin, who has a full seat in the Senate, and Dick and Ray, who have partial seats.
Right, so both geographically large county, but also have a very sizable delegation.
Right.
A very sizable delegation there, and of course your district, District 106. Starts, can you kind of give it on a map, lay it out?
Yeah, it's if you start down in Garden City at the Georgetown County line, come up to Ocean Lakes, take 544 out, about 2/3 of the way to Sockasty, cut over on Big Block Road, then go by the post office and cross the river, and we take in Bucksport area there on the east side of 701 and back to the Georgetown County line. So it's basically everything east of, south of 544, east of the Waccamaw River.
Wow.
And Bucksport.
Geographically, a pretty good-sized district. Did you walk that district a good bit, ride around?
A lot of it, yes, we did.
Running for... And
I saw it grow. So I was very familiar with it, and being in engineering and riding in the neighborhood on the stormwater committee, you get out and see a lot of the area, but I saw it grow in the last 25, 30 years.
We had a great piece on James Frazier last week. It was fascinating to see and hearing him talk about Bucksport and the growth in that community, and having grown up here and then spent time away and the desire to come back. It was very interesting reading about him in that regard, and that area has blossomed a good bit as well.
Yes. I met James buying school clothes in grammar school at Jerry Cox. Was the first time.
Is that right?
Yeah. He was always a nice guy, nice looking, and he worked in the men's department there, Jerry Cox.
Is that right?
Yeah, long time ago.
That's fascinating. Yeah, he's been on county council since 1979.
Right.
It is amazing to think about service. What gave you the inclination to run for office?
Well, I grew up in Horry County and had followed politics, all my life. And what I found where I was growing up, we live on a lot of dirt roads out there, and I had 2 sides of the family: the sides that supported the senator, and the side that didn't, and those that did got roads, and those that didn't. And so I had that part of it going. And when I came back to Horry County working with Grand Strand and got involved with it, I saw how your delegation could work for you. We were having some trouble getting the plant funded, but with the local folks, with DHEC and with the Washington delegation, the Schwartz plant got funded and built while I was at Grand Strand, and so politics always played I could see how having good politics would help people and that sort of thing for some good projects. And so while I've been at Surfside, I just noticed that when I saw the roads being built all over the county, we weren't getting our part on the south end. We kind of organized down there the South Strand Republican Party, South Strand Republican Club, and trying to find some good people to run for various offices and get involved with various committees, planning, zoning, different committees. I was on stormwater, and that little group just kind of was trying to groom people to be familiar with what the problems were on the south end. And then when Keegan decided to retire, I talked to him about what he was doing and decided I'd give it a try. You had a number of folks running against you, though, Nelson. I mean, it's not, you don't just step out and run for office and it just happened. I mean, you actually have to campaign, and other folks are campaigning and raise money, and yes,
there's a lot that goes on.
I had 2 in the primary, and then I really had 2 in the general election. One dropped out and somebody else got in, so it was interesting. A little different than I expected, but,
did you
but
ever
I enjoyed
think when you began that I can win this thing?
Sure.
That I guess folks have to feel that way.
Yeah, I had a lot of good support. I mean, we have really organized the South End through that little Republican club, and we've got some people in some good places, and we meet and we talk about what the problems are and how we can resolve them, and just trying to groom good people to run for public office.
Good. You still work hand in hand, though, oftentimes with folks in other parties as well as folks in other parts of the state even now.
Oh yeah, nothing good passes hardly ever out of the State House that you don't have good bipartisan support.
Mm-hmm.
And we have good bipartisan support on our subcommittees. And I've enjoyed meeting. I've got a lot of good Democratic friends and Republican alike, and I try to spend my time nurturing old relationships and forming new ones, because in the end, it's who has the votes.
Absolutely. Those are great words. I saw on the South Carolina House website you had a little biography on there, and it had a great piece. I believe life is about relationships, and that ties into bipartisan support across the board, folks of all parties and races. I mean, really working in that common bond of relationships.
It is. I mean, I got elected. I mean, we had about half of the people registered down there, and that are eligible to vote, and maybe half of them vote. You know, so 25% of the people pick you, but you represent them all. You have to. I mean, it's just what you're elected to do.
Now, so you think about actually, and of course, those activities of inspirations for you, and of course to step out in the political ring. And I know you talked about earlier before we started filming this morning, somebody who was very active. You were instrumental in helping get elected back in 1998. I know we think about folks like that as well as so many others, but
sure.
Can you share with viewers about that inspiration?
Oh yeah, when I was working in my office, and this young executive from Jones Cable came by, Terry Cooper, said he was going to run for the county council position. And being a businessman and knowing it's always good to have good business people involved, I thought it would be great to have a representative from the South End that could read a financial statement and had worked with a company that made payroll and had to deal with all the things you have to deal with as far as business. And a group of us business people got behind him and other people, and he got elected. And he appointed a lot of people to various boards and commissions. Like I say, I went on stormwater, some other people went on the planning in some other areas, and that I think one time he had appointed about 30 people on the various committees in Hardwick County. In fact, there was people would call me and say, "Do you have to be from Surfside to get on a board of Conway?" And that's when I realized just how much impact you can make if you work together. And it's about working together. You take, like right now with Senator Cleary and myself and Howard Barnard, who replaced Terry. We talk a lot. We're in the same Rotary Club. We meet and talk about a bunch of issues, most of it surrounding roads for the South End. But we're good friends, and we have a pulse on what each other's doing.
Right.
We had a South Strand Republican Club sponsored a moonlight cruise on August this past weekend.
That's right.
We had Congressman Brown with us.
Oh yeah.
And Ray and us, and several local elected officials from Surfside and county, and we try to get them together, because only when you have everybody from the lowest level of government to the highest level of government who know what the plan is and trying to work toward a common plan for the good of your constituents, are you going to be able to look back and think you accomplished anything.
And you really can recognize that a single person or a single group, I remember Terry talking about an instance where there were, let's say, 11 stormwater allocations for funds, and that for some reason his area or otherwise had 10 of the 11. And someone was asking, well, how the heck did you get so many? So, well, I applied for it. No one else did, or obviously one other council member in his area applied, but it's making that difference, because oftentimes a lot of folks just, not to slight any other county council members or otherwise, but folks oftentimes just aren't doing that.
Well, that's the way it was with appointing people to boards. You put your one or your two on, and then the board goes unfilled for a long period of time, and then you say, well, I'd like to appoint somebody else tonight, and they'd vote on it until they realize what was happening. And I'm hoping we can do that at the state, get people comfortable with you, and introduce some new ideas about how we need to get money back for Hardwick County and fund some more Hardwick County projects.
Absolutely.
And fund some roads for the South End.
Yes, roads for the South End. Roads are a big, big deal, aren't they?
Well, it is, because when I worked with Grand Strand 30 years ago, we realized then that the largest area east of the Intercoastal Waterway and the ocean was in the Surfside, Sockasty down, and so we built the first treatment plant down in that area. It had been growing, And we knew then that we needed a route out of Surfside Beach around Conway, through Bucksport, around Conway to 378.
Mm-hmm.
And when we started the ride plan, it had some problems, and they built some of the other roads first. And we built about $1 billion worth of roads lately, and less than $10 million has been spent down in our area. And Senator Cleary and myself and Howard are not going to let that happen.
Right. And when you talk about the South Strand, you're really talking about 544 South.
Yep.
It is right south of the city of Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. And if anybody doesn't believe me, they need to ride down. 544 looks pretty good, but 707 Homestown Road, and look at the area. Just look how much growth and development's down there, and we do need a way out. Mm-hmm. We need an evacuation route, and we're working hard to try to get some of these things to come to pass. You're picking up what some other people started. I mean, it's not a new idea. It's just one that needs some hard work and some cooperation to have happen.
You and Councilman Barnard from the South Strand, of course, and you mentioned Senator Ray Cleary. Obviously, you all working together, as you say, on the state Senate side, the state House, the county council level, and there's a lot of other folks, John Boyd and others up in the Ainer area, very interested in tying in to help open some doors for the South Strand.
Sure. And we appreciate all that help.
Absolutely. There's a lot of governmental issues that folks may not think about. Do you get calls all the time now, Nelson, as a House member, getting calls from all sorts of different interests?
Different. You just never know what. You're surprised all the time about what you get.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anywhere from somebody burning leaves to, I don't know, fireworks on the beach. You name it. It's a lot of different concerns people have. And we're going to have that because we got growing pains here in Horry County and kind of a melting pot, a lot of different people from different areas.
Yes.
Moving in together, and we're learning to live with each other, and it's frustrating because we don't have all the infrastructure relating to roads and things that we need down here. And we've got and as we grow, the biggest asset we have in Horry County is water, the ocean, the river, and as stewards of the environment, we've got to take care of that. We've got to have some good plans in effect to take care of stormwater. Mm-hmm. That's why I served 5 years on that committee. I just feel like it's something that's very important. And with my experience with DHEC, it kind of fell to me to do that, and I enjoyed it. And I'm glad I'm in Columbia now with the Ag and Natural Resources Committee. We deal with a lot of stormwater issues and wastewater issues, and both of those impact severely on the Waccamaw River.
You think about being on the road, going to Columbia, and obviously the roads down here. You've been on the road a good bit this summer. I think I called you about a month or so ago to attend an event to honor David Harwell, who'll be with us tomorrow morning, and you were on the road to Texas.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You've really been on the road a good bit.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't driving to Texas. I was flying to Texas.
Oh, you were flying to Texas.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I remember you said you were taking your two of your grandchildren out to Texas.
That's
right.
Yeah.
You think about activities in the summer and things that keep you busy.
Right.
It's fascinating to think. Of course, having such a large family here in the area, when you travel around, do you all ever get together for family events?
Sure. I got one coming up this weekend.
Is that right?
Yep. Sunday afternoon. Come to Ainer.
Oh, golly, yeah. And of course, when you say come to Ainer, you're talking about a giant. I mean, there'll be a heck of a lot of folks there.
Yeah, we hope to have a large turnout.
That's the
Hardwicks, and we do Grahams and Allens and Johnsons. You name it.
Wow. Now, has anyone when you think about the 63 first cousins, has anyone married, let's say, somebody who has really a very small kin who shows up at these events and thinks, my Lord, these people go on forever?
Yeah. It's been amazing. I mean, for people to find out, all the connections. I think one of the things you grew up and you Nelson Hardwick, you thinking Hardwick is the key, but your mother had a different name, and your grandmother's, and you find out that you're related to more people that don't share your last name as that do, and I think it kind of is just God has a way of keeping you all humble, you know. I know my dad had 4 boys, and now 2 generations later we have one male grandchild.
Wow.
And that would be his great-grandchildren. One to carry on the Hardwick name. But what he wanted us to do, and what they've all wanted us to do, is to be good neighbors, good friends, and give more than we take out of this world. We've got a lot of good people to carry on, whether we're Johnsons or whatever, Grahams, Allens, Smiths, you name it.
you know, when you think about a county so large, and even at events like this weekend, you know, when you think about events like that, and obviously folks want to catch up and talk about their home territory. I mean, it's all about that localism, the community of which they live in.
Yeah.
So oftentimes trying to think about the big picture, trying to think about South Carolina or the Carolinas or the country, wars, other activities, but so much of it comes back to home.
It does. It all comes back. It all comes back because it's in the end, it's what you do for your neighbor and what you do for your, you know, when they need your help. I mean, somebody can call and say, what can I do for you? But the thing to do is get up, go over and do something for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a difference. And I've learned that in my life. We, growing up in a rural area, I think we invented hospice out there, or some version thereof.
Right, sure.
And a lot of people are beginning to learn about that now that have grown up in cities. But you always had time for your neighbor. When he was sick or not feeling well, you'd go over and help out and do various things for them that they couldn't do. And time stopped when somebody died. You paid your respects and things. And I guess that's one of the first things I learned coming down to the beach. The hustle and bustle here in 1980. I met an older man that was a builder down here, and fire ants. He ran into a fire ant bed one day, and they bit him, and he came up to the hospital here on base. And Marty and I had gone up to a real estate meeting in Myrtle Beach. So when we came back, we thought we'd stop and check on him, and he had died.
Wow.
And everybody was busy. You could still hear hammers going, saws going, traffic was going. When somebody died in the rural part of Horry County, you stopped. You didn't work next door to the thing. You carried food to the house, took care of the family. You visited them, and it's a fast-paced thing that takes some getting used to.
I bet that's a powerful memory.
It is.
Think about that.
It is. But it was the first time I realized that everybody didn't stop when somebody died.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 30-some years old then.
Golly, Nelson, yeah. I'm sure you still attend funeral processions, and you drive into the cemetery, you'll see people pass by the cars.
That's right.
Where normally you would see folks just pull over.
Pull over,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first place I noticed that, and up in Columbia when I lived there for a year.
Right.
But,
You know, when you think about now, as you look backwards, but also look forward, can you think about not only on the South Strand, but the Strand in general, and the Horry Georgetown County area, of some of the future development that lies ahead as you're serving in Columbia now? Do you think about the future?
yeah, I think that we got to be concerned about how we grow and what we do for the future. But you go to any large town, large city, you see some good things they've done, some bad things, and I think we need to learn from history and learn from other people and try to not lose sight of what quality of life is, and not just what people build, but how people treat their neighbors and their friends, because that's where it's at. I mean, you can live in any neighborhood. If your neighbors are good neighbors, it's a good place to live.
Now, so when you look at the challenges, are roads the biggest challenge facing the South Strand now?
A lot of it. We need that infrastructure to be able to move around and get out in case of a hurricane. We're concerned about that. We're growing. A lot of people are down there, and it's our turn to get an evacuation route, and that's one of the things I've pledged to work on. But not the only thing. I mean, education's important. We've got to always take care of the children. I was always taught in my family that you take care of two types of people: little ones and old ones, and then everybody else in the middle kind of take care of themselves.
Right.
And so we got to do some of that, and make sure we have a good education system. Make sure that people can make a living. You know, that a person can go out and do something productive and feel good about himself when he's earning a living to raise his family and send his kids to school. Make a better life for your children. That's what people are always trying to do. And you want better for your child than you've had. That's what it's all about. And we got to remember that we have a responsibility for everybody's kids.
Right.
And so we got to always look at that, the need, and be there with a helping hand.
Mm-hmm. You know, Sheriff Thompson was with us on Tuesday. It was fascinating to hear him think about those key words, law enforcement, and then really serving the people. And of course, you all in Columbia are actually making the laws, making it happen so that laws can be enforced. And of course, folks down there having to do that. But you think about chaos if A, you all weren't making the laws, and B, they weren't being enforced down here.
Right. Yeah, it's a good system we have, though. It really is. And I'm have enjoyed being a part of it, and I'm honored that that good people in the South End sent me up to represent them.
Absolutely. And if you weren't representing them, Nelson, what do you think you would have been doing this summer? What do you think you'd be doing now?
Well, I think God has a lot to do with what you're going to be doing, and I think He kind of had my summer plan, something I didn't expect. My daughter was diagnosed with cancer, and towards the end of the session, and we've been a lot of our time has been trying to take care of her. She's had a rare type of cancer, and the doctors asked us to go out, send her out to MD Anderson, and see if we could get some help there. And we called a lot of friends and asked a lot of people to pray, and our prayers have been answered. She's there, and she's getting some good treatment. We feel very good about it. I know that He's healing her as we speak, and we're looking to have a good report coming September, and this fall maybe get her back, and she won't make it for a family reunion, but she wants all us to be there, and so it's been an interesting summer, and I think I would have been doing that whether I had been elected or not.
Great words, Nelson. I'm sorry we've run out of time.
No
Thanks
problem.
so much for being with us this morning. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with the Honorable Nelson Hardwick coming up next. His business partnerships taught him that when you work as a team, utilizing the assets available, the best assets available, the workload is lighter and the success is more rapid. It's key words like that, working as a team, relationships, making it happen. He wants you to be a part of the team, whether you're in his district or another district. If you want to learn about legislative action, what number does Nelson give you? He doesn't give you the number up in Columbia. He wants you to call his mobile number. He says give him a call, 843-340-1303, 340-1303. He also stresses he doesn't have an unlisted number. He's in the phone book, Hardwick & Associates. You can reach him. He wants you to be a part of the team. He wants that team, the load to be lightened and to work forward to grow in the area. Not only grow in the South Strand, grow in the county, grow in the state of South Carolina, making it a better place to live. Give him a call. Make that call, 340-1303. Be a part of the team.